Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be relationship purgatory. So I've got an email from a woman today, and what I liked about her email is you just see the mindset of somebody that's settling. Men and women both do this in their relationships. And it's pretty obvious that the guy that she's been seeing for the past months is really not that into her. But obviously she likes him, she's giving him the benefit of the doubt, and she's hoping that it changes. And what's interesting about this mindset and the way most people interact with other human beings in their lives, whether it's their friendships, the people they work with, the people that they date, you can just see that once you settle in one area of your life that's important to you, then it becomes acceptable, then it becomes your standard, and then you start doing this in all other areas of your life. And when you look at stats of people that have gotten married, what the crazy thing is, there's a lot of people, especially a lot of women, that marry guys that they're not in love with, and vice versa. A lot of people are hanging out with friends that aren't really that great of friends to them. And a lot of people are in relationships with people that they just shouldn't be in a relationship with just because they're too scared to go it on their own or become single again. And I wrote about this in 3% Man. It's like when you don't know any better and you're surrounded by people that are settling and being average and mediocre, it seems normal to be this way. But if you want real, true, explicit joy in your life's work, your friendships, your relationships, your social life, you got to have high standards. Because when you tolerate low standards in one part of your life, then it becomes justification for settling in other areas of your life. And especially when it comes to choosing a life partner or somebody that you're going to have kids with or start a family with or just live together, you don't want to be settling for somebody that doesn't really set your soul on fire. And the reason being is you're just simply, just like a job you're not that into, you're not going to put in the extra effort and time to really love and care and nurture about that other person, and vice versa, because you simply don't feel it. In the same way that if you're not on fire about your job and you don't love your life's work, a big part of what I talked about in my second book, Mastering Yourself, you're never going to become exceptional at it. Because if you don't love it, you won't obsess over it. You won't work 24/7. You won't stay up late at night and get up early in the morning for it and really suffer for what you love and what you're passionate about. Because there is no passion. There is no love for it. You do just enough to not get fired. And then when you've settled in your relationships, you've settled in your business or whatever it is you do for a career, your happiness is going to suffer. And then you get to a point where you're like, what's the point? Why go work out? Why eat a healthy meal? What does that even matter? Who cares about taking care of your body? If you're not that into the person that you're with, you're not that into your job, why take extra good care of your body? What's the incentive? The only reason why we do what we do in life about anything is we have to have a compelling reason, an emotionally compelling reason why we do it. In other words, we have to have a really strong why. So when it comes to your friendships, the people that you date, what you do for a living, make sure you have a really strong, emotionally compelling reason why you're doing it. And if you don't, then you need to be focused on finding what it is that would be emotionally compelling and either change the job or start interviewing and looking for another job, get different business partners, move across the country or the world, or change your relationship. If it's mediocre, you can't make somebody else feel something that they're not already feeling themselves. And you have to be strong enough to recognize no matter how much you love somebody and want them to care about you, if they don't, they don't. And self-love says, hey, I want to be celebrated. I want somebody to think I'm spectacular. And you're going to move on. Same thing with the friendships. If you got friends that aren't treating you really the way you want to be treated, and they don't reciprocate in the same way, and you try setting and enforcing healthy boundaries, and they really just don't give a damn, then keep searching and keep circulating until you find people who do love and value and appreciate you. You got to go out and find your tribe. Sometimes you have to create what you want to be a part of, especially if you're having a hard time finding it. So with that said, I got a quote that I wrote, and then we'll go through her email. Oh, by the way, this is the hardcover copy of my third book that's out now finally. It's in paperback and digital format. You can get it on Amazon.com. All the different types are not connected yet. The audiobook is still it's filtering through the pipeline, but quotes, ruminations, contemplations, it's like 700 pages long. There's about 250 quotes. And basically what I do is, just like I do in the YouTube videos, I read the quote, and these are just random from I think I've got 1,300 of these now. Probably end up being 5 or 6 books when all's said and done. But what you'll see in the book is we also have a QR code in there. And with the QR code, you just put your phone over it, and it'll take you right to that particular article. If you're like, I really like that quote, I want to see more about, I want to see what that article and video are about, and it'll take you right there. So you can get it at Amazon.com, and it should be in the iBookstore. If it's not there already, it should be there pretty soon. And like I said, the audiobook will be out in a couple weeks once it filters through the system and everything gets linked together. But if you want to get the paperback or a digital version, it's available now at Amazon. So with that said, I'm going to go through the quote, and then we'll go through this woman's email. The quote says, "Most people settle for mediocrity in all areas of their lives that are important to them. Out of their need for love, they give their love to people who do not feel the same way and do not reciprocate. When it comes to friendships, they spend their time with friends who really do not value or appreciate them. If you have low standards, you'll settle for someone who also has low standards. You attract how you act. Only spend your time with people who love, value, appreciate, and celebrate you." Sometimes you got to let people go. You got to let them go on down the road. If their goals and values are not aligned with your own, and they're not making the kind of effort that you expect, and you've tried setting and enforcing healthy boundaries, and they don't do it, you got to let them go. Sometimes you just got to leave people in the rear view mirror and not feel bad about it. Because in order to get from where you are to where you want to be and reach your full potential, you got to have the right people on your team. Just like, I mean, look at the NFL. Look at all these different ball clubs. They're constantly, every 2-3 years, they didn't go to a championship. They fire their coach. They fire the GM. And then the same teams just suck year after year, decade after decade after decade. It's really hard to build a great winning team if you don't have the right people on your team. So she says, "Hi, Coach. I've been dating this guy for 5 months, and everything seemed to be going okay, but not necessarily progressing." Well, the reality is, if there's enthusiasm, if there's real high enthusiasm and interest on his part, he's going to make the extra effort. Because a great friend, a great lover, you just love spending time together. It's going to be easy and effortless. You don't have to try to force anything. It just kind of flows. They're happy to spend time with you. You're happy to spend time with them. And they make you feel like they really appreciate and value you being there. So you got to look at what the other person does, not what they say. And we are the greatest self-bullshitters. We bullshit ourselves all the time. And a big reason why we bullshit ourselves is, especially if we don't have a high opinion of ourselves, we'll tolerate somebody that's not reciprocating or showing mediocre interest because we don't have a high opinion of ourselves. And so their level of effort matches how we view ourselves. And this justifies us sticking around. Because if we can justify mediocrity, then why would you leave to go find something better? If you feel all you deserve is mediocrity, that's what you'll put up with. But if you have high standards, you're like, this is not acceptable. This is not good enough. It's like the women I wrote about in 3% Man, those kind of women, those kind of relationships, you get spoiled. And then you realize that most people that you're going to encounter in life are just average humans. And so when somebody good comes along, you really recognize it because they're so much different than everybody else. we'd see each other maybe 2 times a week, and I only slept over at his place 2 times. So if you're dating a guy and you slept at his house, or a girl for that matter, if you're a guy dating a girl and you've only slept over at her house twice in 5 months, you're probably just a booty call. He's a light sleeper and I'm a deep sleeper. He is in med school and focused on achieving his dream. I think I initiated most of the dates. Well, women typically reach out the most. Now, what does that mean? You asked him out on those dates? That should also be something you should pay attention to. If he's the guy and you reach out and you call him just to see what he's up to and he never asks you out and he's not making the effort, you have to have enough self-control to where you recognize that the other person is not making the effort. And like I talk about in 3% Man, the quickest way to get somebody else's attention is to remove yours. And so when you go out on a date or you spend time with him and you notice he seems to be taking it for granted, I wouldn't call or text him, see what happens. Because if they don't reach out, then you know where you stand. You know they weren't really that into you. I felt like I was helping him out, but in retrospect, maybe emasculating him by doing so. Well, you're pushing the wet noodle and you're kind of ignoring the fact that you're making more of an effort. In other words, you're more into him than he is into you. And as hard as that is, and as unpleasant as that is, when you recognize that somebody's just not that into you, you gotta cut them loose and move on. Maybe they come back, but the reality is, if they're not making a sincere, authentic, because you can't fake feelings. You can't force yourself to feel anything. You either feel it or you don't. You either feel high interest or you don't. And when you feel high interest and you highly value someone or something, you're going to put the extra effort and care to make sure that person or that thing gets you got to think of kind of relationships or your business or your friendships almost like children. What happens when you don't love and nurture children properly? They misbehave. But when they get lots of love and attention, you fill their bucket of self-esteem up, and they're sweet, they're fun to be around, they're well behaved, but you start ignoring and neglecting them, just like a business. The business starts misbehaving, you start having problems because you're not doing the little things that need to be done to maintain that relationship or that system. She said, I also felt that I was easing his school burden by trying to make the relationship easy. Well, at the end of the day, he's supposed to be a fucking man. And if he can't handle a good woman making his life better, then either he's a fuck up, or he's fucked up, or he's just not that into you. In either way, that disqualifies him right there. You shouldn't be putting more effort in than the other person is reciprocating. It should be mutual. Because love is about giving. You go there to help each other grow and become more. You rejoice in his success, and he should be rejoicing in yours. But it's all one way. A few weeks ago, I called him later at night, and we chatted for a bit. I told him that I'd like him to meet my friends. He said soon and invited me over to dinner on the following Sunday. So she's thinking, because that's not going to do anything to cause him to want to be more serious. But you suggesting that he meet your friends shows that you're placing a high priority on him. But again, you're ignoring the fact that he's not really reciprocating. Saturday night, I get a text from him about his nervousness about going to a party with a bunch of doctors. Yeah, this guy doesn't sound real. He sounds like a fucking beta male. I picked up the phone, called him, and listened to him work out the nerves and pick out an outfit. He's like a child. He's like a man baby. I didn't hear from him for the rest of the night. Whatever. I was out with my girlfriends. But Sunday rolls around, and we're supposed to have dinner at his place that night. And he texts me in the morning and says he really tied one on the night before. I asked if he's still up for dinner, and he said yeah. By afternoon, he asked if he could swing by my place. I get knots in my stomach, but tell him of course. He's distant when he shows up. He communicates that he needs space. So basically what's happening is from his actions, you're his booty call, his occasional booty call. And he can tell you're way more into him than he's into you. And that's the real reason why he's coming over, is to kind of push you away. And a lot of women do this to guys. It's basically saying, hey, slow your roll. But you got to recognize that he's just not that into you. As unpleasant as that is, it's reality. He says he's 95% sure about our relationship. That's bullshit. If he was 95% sure, he wouldn't be coming over asking for space. So look at what a person does, not what they say. But he was nervous about when he goes away on rotations out of the area for 4 weeks at a time. That's all a load of bullshit. It sounds logical and it kind of makes sense in a logical way, but what is going on here? He's taking a step back and going, I want to spend less time with you. Does that sound like somebody who's hungering for you and thirsting after your body? Nope. I had drunkenly communicated once to him that long-distance relationships don't work, and he threw that in my face. I explained that I felt it'd be different considering the short-lived nature of his distance, but regardless, he asked for space. I asked for terms, etc., and for clarification. We talked through, and he agreed to text me to let me know he's thinking of me. So you're basically saying, hey, please act like you care, when I can tell right now that you really don't. Because that's what your ego is avoiding at all costs, is admitting or realizing a guy's not that into you. And guys do this all the time with girls. She says, I don't know how to feel at this point. Well, he can go on down the road. Somebody wants space? Never call or text him again for any reason. And then when he texts you to see what you're doing, take your time to respond to him. Make him a low priority. Make him as actually a little bit lower priority in your life than you are in his. And that will be interesting. He texts nearly daily. The messages are always something to the effect of him bitching about studying and wishing me a great day. Do you really want to listen to a guy call and fucking complain all the time? That's not masculine. He's a little boy looking for a mommy. What is my move? I wouldn't do anything. I like him, I know. But he's not that into you. Look at his actions. That tells you everything. I'm trying to get a read on if he's just downgrading the relationship. No, you're just an occasional booty call. Because you slept over twice in 5 months. You're not important to him. I know it's not nice to say that, and it's unpleasant, but I'm not going to sit here and blow sunshine up your ass, because I got to be real with you. I got to tell you the way it is. Because it doesn't serve you to blow sunshine up your ass, because I'm sure a lot of your girlfriends are going, oh, it'll be fine. It'll work. Oh, he's just going through a difficult time. I'm sure it'll work out in the future. Do I start ignoring him to see if he starts taking action instead of just talking? Yeah, I wouldn't call or text him for any reason. He said he wanted space, so if I were you, I would start meeting and dating other guys. And I would put this guy, if you're interested in an occasional booty call with him, hey, it's your life. You can do whatever you want. But if you want a man who really loves you and values you and appreciates you and celebrates you, you don't waste your time with douchebags like this. Too many people do this shit, and it goes on for years, and even more of them end up settling and marrying somebody that behaves this way. They have sex, they have a few kids, then after they've had a few kids, it's a loveless, sexless relationship, and now you're roommates with somebody you don't really like and who doesn't really like you. That sucks. I don't want to pressure him, but I also feel it's unfair for me to be in this relationship purgatory, and for how long? I would say it ends today. I would say it ends as soon as you see this video. It's like, no more. You're a free agent. I would go out and start saying yes and meeting and dating other guys. Optimize your body. Get your ass in the gym. Work out. Do squats. Take care of your body. Look good. Optimize your body. Eat healthy. Do the things I talk about in mastering yourself. You want to get the best guy you can get for you. Look as good as you can. Take care of yourself. I wouldn't give this guy, there's no reason to even reach out to him. And if when he does reach out, just say, hey, I've been doing some thinking. I just want you to know that I want to date other people. And because we've been together, we've been seeing each other for 5 months. It's not progressing. You're not in the right headspace. I want a guy who knows what he wants, who has confidence in himself and his abilities, and he's going for it, because you're just simply, what you've shown me in 5 months, it doesn't work for me. You're a great guy, but I need more, and I'm going to go find more, and I'm not going to wait on you. Yeah, you can call me occasionally, we can occasionally date, but your level of effort sucks. So the other thing, that if you do that, if he starts making the effort, you don't want him to make the effort for a short period of time, and then as soon as he thinks he's got you, he goes right back. You got to look at how is he right now today? What kind of effort is he making today? And it's not acceptable. You deserve somebody who really wants to be with you and who really wants to be deep inside you. Let's be honest. So if you got a question or a challenge that you'd like to get my help with, go to understandingrelationships.com, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book a coaching session with yours truly. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.